Fox News alert, 24 hours after girlfriends called him the most toxic, abusive man on earth, Graham Platner's back on the stump. He's in Maine tonight holding a rally ahead of Tuesday's primary, and his lead over Susan Collins just evaporated. A new poll has him tied. Turns out a sexting nipple Nazi accused of roughing up his ex isn't winning too many hearts and minds in the Pine Tree State. Yesterday's bombshell may have blown up his campaign. One of his ex-girlfriends telling the New York Times that Platner physically abused her, twisting her arms behind her back, bruising her, and barricading her into a bedroom. Scam Platner says, who, me?
Did that happen?
No, it did not. There are some allegations in this piece that I just want to be kind of unequivocal about are simply not true. Anything alleging physicality, anything alleging that I knew what my tattoo was, these are the statements of someone who's politically motivated.
You did not grab her by the wrist. You did not put your hands on her shoulders. You did not push her into a room that you closed the door on. She's lying about that, is what you're saying.
Yes, that is not true.
This Bernie bro's an ogre. He probably lives under a bridge. His ex-girlfriend says he fantasized about sodomy. Quote, he said this a lot. If anybody ever broke in here, I would rape them. Not in a gay way. The Nazi tattoo? She says he knew about it. He laughed about it. Called it my token cough. Platner says he can't be a Nazi. He danced at a Jewish wedding.
Did you know what this tattoo was about before last October when you said you first became aware of it?
No, I did not. And I also think it's important to note that it's very likely, and I think that she is that same source. She's the person who's been telling people this from the beginning. And I took my shirt off in front of my family, many of whom are Jewish. We even released as a campaign a video, which you're putting up on the screen right now, of me dancing at my brother's wedding to his wife, who is Jewish.
I'm sure his Jewish in-laws were thrilled when their new son-in-law's brother stripped down at the reception, pounded beers, and karaoke'd Miley Cyrus. But no shirt, that's nipple on a good day. Usually he's sexting. Last week, P. Hustle denied it.
But the stories are true, right, about the texts?
No, this is the amazing part. The Wall Street Journal and the New York Times ran stories without any evidence besides the gossip from a former staffer. I'm sorry, that's frankly journalistic malpractice. We pushed back on it. They won it. They did it anyways. So
are you confirming that the messages did not exist?
What's that?
The messages, they did not?
I'm confirming that what Genevieve McDonald said in the New York Times is not true.
Now, last night he said, yeah, I started sexting random chicks right after the honeymoon.
The first question is like, when did this stop? If it stopped, if there was stuff that you're not proud of that you worked out with your wife, and you don't want to talk about the details, when did it stop?
Oh, it stopped when it was happening. I mean, like it was Amy and I, it happened soon after we got married, and we dealt with it very, very early in our relationship. And so that's when it stopped.
So what's next? Democrats are holding their breath. One says there's only so many bricks the load can take. This guy keeps saying he's clean, and another shoe drops.
I'm wondering, are there other skeletons from your past that still may emerge in this race?
No.
But the GOP is going to dig up everything and more that they can.
Yeah, and probably lie at some point. I mean,
Is there something new you want to get ahead of?
no.
People have to take you at your word that that's true and that there's nothing else. Is that what you are saying?
Yes.
One of Platner's exes says the Times set her up. The reporters persuaded her to go on the record about getting manhandled by Graham, but then when she opened the paper, she asked the journalist, wait, where are the stories from the other women? Where are their accusations of sexual assault? Why am I the focus? There were a lot of allegations in the timepiece that didn't make it to print. More could be coming out soon. Platner's ex says she's connected to the two other exes, and they're deciding what to do next. They all feel betrayed by the Times. Looks kind of like a catch and kill. Behind the scenes, people are calling Janet Mills, telling her to get back in the race, just in case. The National Organization for Women, they're telling members to vote Mills over Platner now. Primary's Tuesday, but the Nepo-Nazi says he's in it to win it.
At any point over the course of the past week, have you considered dropping out of the race?
No, not once.
The Democrat machine's desperate. They whacked Swalwell, knowing the governor's race was safe in blue hands out there. But they need the Maine Senate seat, and they think Platner's their best shot. So they're giving him a perv pass.
He's f***ed up. He's been shot at. He's a veteran. All right? He's a little bit weird. Maybe we need a combat veteran right on that Senate floor who is f***ed up. I don't know how to tell the New York Times this, but boy puts hand on girl's moves hand, boy walks away, rejected and despondent. That happens. If you committed a crime, didn't charge him, and then throw his ass in jail, but so far we have none of that.
CNN says the nipple's a saint compared to the rest of the chamber.
The morality of the Senate is something that I don't think will be brought down by the addition of Graham Platner. I believe, in fact, the morality of the Senate will come up a notch by the addition of Graham.
I mean, you know.
Graham Platner's going to be the moral backbone of the Senate? This is about as bad as when Binder said Biden was running circles around her. They're treating us like idiots. You want to hear what else we found out about Platner? Guy's got a DUI conviction. He lost his license for a year, got into an accident, took a breathalyzer, and then they took him in. We're working on the mugshot, don't worry. Did Kavanaugh ever have a DUI? They made him look like an alcoholic because he had a beer. They Me Too'd Franken for not even touching a woman. Now women are saying he bruised me, twisted my arm behind my back, yanked my wrist, locked me in a room overnight, and Democrats are like, not credible.
Where I draw the line is if there are any credible allegations of abuse or assault or domestic violence. But the reason I'm supporting Graham Platner is because he's taking on the unfair and lopsided economy, saying that too few billionaires have a lot of the wealth and power and that we need to really stand for the working class.
So here's the new standard. You can be a raging drunk, drug-taking, sexting communist in therapy and on disability, whose ex-girlfriends say you're the worst person alive. But if you say the right thing about Trump, welcome to the Senate.
Will you endorse his campaign?
I am convinced that he is running on all of the right issues for our country right now.
So why not say that you endorse him?
He is on a pathway to victory in the state of Maine.
Democrats are thinking about one thing: power. They're telling everybody to back the angry Nazi perv, no matter what he's done. And if they don't, here comes the mob.
If you're a so-called liberal and you are feeding into this smear campaign, let me be clear, you are a f***ing traitor and you don't give a about taking down MAGA. You understand that? You are a useful idiot for the fascist war criminal pedophile rapist that is Donald Trump.
ABC and NBC didn't even cover it last night, and it took CBS until the morning to air it. The machine needs Platner to hang in there badly. He only needs to get to Tuesday, and then Maine Democrats will have about 4 weeks to either swap him out or bandage him up for November. The price is going to be steep. This is doing long-term damage to the Democrat brand, backing a Nazi-tattooed military contractor after literally running against fascism for 4 years. The Party of Women backing a guy accused of domestic abuse. Finally, they found a straight, blue-collared looking guy who served in the military to run as a Democrat. They are not going to let this guy go. They think if they dump him, they'll never win back men because they think this guy's cool to men. They think Platner's the kind of guy you want to have a beer with. And maybe you do. One beer. And then you get the heck out of there. Because everything this guy's done in his life's been a disaster. Everywhere he goes, people get hurt. And Democrats, they're next. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.